is part 2 video of the dimple shortbread cookie recipe, and I'm making the fillings. And in here I have a 3/4 stick of butter, alright, approximately 6 tablespoons. And I am going to melt it and I'm going to brown it, which takes a lot of stirring. So I'm going to come back in a few minutes and show you what it looks like when the butter is browned. Alright, it takes about half an hour and you have to keep stirring it. Alright, so the purpose of this filling is that I'm going to actually make 2 flavors. Alright, so I'm going to have 4 flavors altogether for the cookies, and this is going to be 2 of the flavors. And I'm going to divide this up when it's completed, and I'm going to make half peanut butter and half a salted caramel. Alright, so in order for that to happen, this mixture has to be very thick. Now what we're going to have in here eventually is when this butter is melted and browned, and when it gets to the point where it's completely another color, so it'll be 5 shades darker than this, or maybe 3 shades darker than this, you're going to add 1/3 cup of cream, and maybe a bit more, a tablespoon more, 1/3 cup and 1 tablespoon of cream, and 1 tablespoon of the erythritol sweetener. Now, you're going to add two total tablespoons of sweetener, but we're going to add half in the beginning while it's cooking, and then I'm going to split the recipe, and then I'm going to add half to 1, and then I'm going to add a tablespoon of this salted caramel no sugar syrup. Now you can also add 2 pinches of salt, or a measure of salt, to make your salted caramel if you don't have the syrup. Alright, so that's the process and all the ingredients, and I'll come back when this is brown, or I'll show you what this looks like when it's totally brown, and we're going to start adding the other stuff to it. Alright, so see you in a while. So I added my butter was getting little brown bits in it, so I added my cream. So I added 1/3 cup of cream and 1 tablespoon to this, and now I am mixing away, and then I will come back when I add the erythritol. So I'm going to add one total of 2 tablespoons of erythritol right now, okay? So I'm adding my erythritol, that's 1 tablespoon. I'm going to reserve my other tablespoon for later on. So right now I just want this to come to a boil and get thicker, alright? So that's the goal of this. It's going to be sort of a light caramel, looks like. Alright, show you what it looks like up front. So it's mostly like a custard right now, alright? And we want this to reduce down even further. I converted, or I changed over to a frying pan because the saucepan wasn't working as well as I wanted it to. And now I'm going to add my tablespoon of the salted caramel, or you can add some coarse salt to your taste, alright? So about a couple of pinches of coarse salt if you want to do that, but I'm just going to add a tablespoon of this salted caramel. And I'm going to cook this a little bit now till it reduces down. And you want this to be fairly thick. It will continue to thicken when you take it off the fire, of course. And you want to put it in the refrigerator. Oh, that fragrance is so good. Okay, I'm going to lower the heat a little bit. And you want this now to cook on a low heat and keep stirring it, alright? Alright, come back when it's all done. Okay folks, I'm back with my completed caramel sauce, alright? So here's my caramel sauce, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to divide this into 2 containers, alright, as equally as I can right now. So we're going to put some in there like that. And you can keep this caramel sauce and put it on any kind of keto dessert you like. It just adds a little something to it. Of course, the ratios are it is high in fat, which is really good. And it has no sugar in it, right? Because it only has a little bit of syrup and erythritol. All right. I think I've gotten it all out. One last shoot. And then what I'm going to do is to one, I'm going to leave as it is, and to the other, I'm going to add, where is it? My peanut butter. All right, so I'm going to add about, I don't know, 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, I think. All right, and try not to get the oily bit of the peanut butter because you want your mixture to stay as, I'll just add 1 tablespoon for right now. 1 heaping tablespoon of peanut butter, all right? And stir that in. And then you want to refrigerate this for a little while so it hardens up. All right, so that's that. We're going to stir that in, and then I'll be back to fill the cookie and show you what the completed cookie looks like. All right, so we're going to have 4 flavors. We're going to have this peanut butter. We're going to have a salted caramel. We're going to have a chocolate ganache. And we're going to have some sort of fruity thing, a strawberry or raspberry. I can't remember what I bought. So I'll show you all of that when I come back. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little food coloring to this caramel one, just to give it a little, I don't know, different look. Right? So that's just for aesthetics. So we'll do that and we'll come back. See you soon. I'm back with my dimple cookies, so I kept them in the refrigerator for a little while just so that they'd harden up. And then I put my icings into these little sort of piping bags. Now if you don't have a piping bag, so you can use these ketchup containers, all right? They work just as well. I'm going to use both of them to show you. So I'm going to do the chocolate ganache first. So we're going to carefully work with this little gizmo because there we go. And then after you fill these, you stick them in the fridge so that the ganache hardens. All right, you want it fairly soft to start with, so after you make it, you just keep it out till you're ready to go. All right, so I'm going to do 4 of those, and then I'm going to do 4 of these. These are the caramel, the salted caramel, which I colored pink. So let's get this to come out a bit here. And let's see if I can get this to cooperate. There we go. And they work just as well, these containers, for icing purposes. All right, and of course you can just dollop them on too. You don't need to do anything fancy. So just so that they've, I like to use something because it gives a little bit more control to the piping mechanism, right? And it makes them look a little prettier too. Oh, this is the jam. This is the raspberry preserves, all right? So what I did was I bought raspberry preserves that were low in carbohydrates, and then I measured out how much they would be by tablespoon, all right? So I'm not going to use that much. So that's a raspberry dessert one. And this last one is the peanut butter. And there we go. Perfect. All right, so that's what my dimple cookies look like. All right, and we've got chocolate ganache. We've got salted caramel that I colored pink. We've got raspberry fruit preserves, low in carb. And if you can get sugar-free, you can use that too. This is better. And this last one's peanut butter. All right, so enjoy your cookies. Don't they look good? I guess I should try one. Which one shall I try? Let me try a salted caramel one. All right, here we go.